Already, the president's emergency declaration is facing a barrage of legal challenges. The ACLU announced plans to sue, and California Governor Gavin Newsom responded to the president, "California will see you in court." And Governor Gavin Newsom joins me now from Sacramento for an all-in exclusive. Governor, what is your state going to do about the declaration today?
Well, first, I'm just trying to process the fact that I'm agreeing with Ann Coulter for the first time in perhaps my lifetime. But California is prepared to file a lawsuit. California is prepared to call this what this is, which is a theater of the absurd. California is prepared to continue to remind the American people this is a manufactured crisis. Border crossings up to 2017 were at the lowest level since 1971. The reality is, at ports of entry, most of these drugs are seized, and California is prepared to work with the administration, but not on a monument to stupidity, a wall.
You pulled the National Guard, the California National Guard troops have been deployed to their mission down at the border. Why'd you do that?
Because it was the right thing to do, because we don't want to participate in this show any longer. And the fact is, the President of the United States announced that he wanted to put 3,750 additional military personnel on the border. Rather makes our 360 National Guard troops look pretty trivial and insignificant. Look, we just don't want to play. We don't want to be part of this. We don't want to be part of this theater. We don't want to be part of this political, misdirection. California is better than that. American people, I think, deserve better. And so California wants to stand tall.
I want to ask you a question I asked Beto O'Rourke last night when I was in El Paso. There's fencing in El Paso that separates El Paso from Juarez. It didn't exist for a very long time, only constructed in 2009 pursuant to the Secure Fencing Act back in 2006. There is fencing on your border. It's about 140 miles total border, and much of that is fenced in the state of California. And I want to play you what I asked him and then ask you the same question. This is what I had to ask O'Rourke last night. Take a listen. If you could, would you take the wall down now, here?
Yes.
Like you have a wall.
Absolutely.
Knock it down.
I'd take the wall down.
And do you think the city, if there's a referendum here in this city, that would pass?
I do.
Would you take the wall down that is currently up in the California border?
I'm not prepared to say that. I think in many respects it's appropriate in certain areas. It's inappropriate in other areas. That's my opposition to 2,000 miles in the wilderness and unnecessary waste of resources, time, and energy. But at these major ports of entry, I think it's appropriate. I believe in border security, and I believe there are appropriate places for barriers. But I do not believe that we should even be playing in to the current discussion, particularly with a president that couldn't even spend the money that Congress appropriated him last year. He spent less than 10% of the $1.7 billion Congress gave him over a year ago. He can't even get that money invested. Why are we even having a conversation about additional investment or even this notion of an emergency?
Let me zoom out for a second. A question about the state that you now govern, fifth or sixth largest economy in the world. There was a long time in which Republicans were very powerful in your state. It was a conservative state for a long time. A lot of people think the proposition was put on the ballot, sort of viewed widely as an anti-immigrant proposition, turned the corner in that state, made the Republican Party there increasingly toxic, has led to Democratic governance increasingly to the fact that now it's unified. And many people see that as a warning signal to national Republicans. As the governor of the state of California, is that your thesis as well?
Yeah, I mean, look, America in 2019 reminds me a lot of California in the 1980s and 1990s. Xenophobia, nativism. We had a governor at the time, Pete Wilson, that was promoting Proposition 187, which, with respect, would make Donald Trump blush. Proposition 227. We were advancing aggressive crime measures like 3 strikes and you're out. We were fearful of other people. Now here we are, fast track to your point, Chris. We are not only the most diverse state in the world's most diverse democracy, but we're in a state where 27% of us are foreign born, a majority minority state where we're living together and advancing together quite well across every conceivable and imaginable difference. The only people that are not advancing together right now is the Republican Party, which is quite literally third-party status now in California. If that's not a cautionary tale for the National Republican Party, I think it should be. Donald Trump is walking them off the same cliff our former governor of California walked the Republican Party off in the 1990s.
I want to ask you a question about the presidential campaign of 2020. Obviously, presidential leadership key here. There are many candidates. Kamala Harris, who represents your state in the U.S. Senate, has received some prominent endorsements. Barbara Lee in the congressional caucus there. Dolores Huerta, the legendary labor organizer, today announcing. Do you have someone that you're endorsing in this presidential campaign?
Yeah, I'm very enthusiastic about Kamala Harris. You asked me first, so I'll let you know. I'll be endorsing her candidacy for president. I know her well. I've known her for decades, not only as district attorney, where she did an extraordinary job with a very progressive record, but I watched her up close as lieutenant governor when she served as attorney general, and I have the privilege of working with her as a U.S. senator. I think the American people could not do better.
That is news. Am I correct? You have not said that yet.
I haven't said that publicly, no.
All right. Well, good. Well, thanks for coming on, and come on anytime you want to make news, Governor. Governor Gavin Newsom of California, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.